This just in, Jesse Dollemore's on notice.
Ask me more.
We are just on the scene the day of Donald Trump's inauguration, and I don't know if this is stretching to find some kind of a metaphor, but I don't think it should be lost on anybody. And I know this is Jimmy Carter's funeral to recognize his contribution to the country, but flags at half-mast are quite the statement. The other thing is that his inauguration is taking place on MLK Jr. Day, which should invigorate you to keep fighting, to keep resisting, to deny and delay any progress in a Trump administration. We're going to be talking to a lot of Trump supporters today, and again, just like yesterday, we'll see how it goes. Army of Proud Boys marching. We could here 4 years ago to attack the United States Capitol, attempt to overthrow the United States government.
I'm a New York City school teacher.
So you're down from just for the inauguration.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the next 4 years? I'm assuming, since you're in the MAGA uniform, that you're a Trump supporter. What are you looking forward to the next 4 years?
I want to be able to afford groceries.
Well, you can afford a trip to D.C. You can afford groceries, right?
I want wars to end.
What wars are we in?
The Ukraine war.
We have no troops in Ukraine.
Well, why are you arguing with me?
I'm telling you the truth.
Wait a minute. Are you a journalist? You're arguing with me?
No, well, you're saying wrong things. I'm fact-checking you.
What?
Is that not how it works?
The Ukraine war, the Israeli war?
You think we have American troops in those places?
Did you vote for Kamala?
I was in the Marine Corps, so I understand the military.
Did you vote for Kamala?
Yes, I did.
I'm not surprised.
And you teach children? and you teach children?
100%.
Is it a private school or a public school?
And I have kids that I take care of.
But you teach children?
Yeah, I have a 15-year-old and I have a 20-year-old that I take care of.
Cool, that's great.
Those are my kids. So
what does that mean?
Getting back to the wars.
What troops do we have in wars?
Excuse me.
No, excuse me.
No, excuse
What troops do we have in wars? What troops of ours?
Oh, but what about my tax money that goes to you?
You said we're in wars.
No, excuse me.
What wars
What
are
about
we in?
my tax money that goes?
What wars are we in?
Ukraine war?
There's no U.S. troops in Ukraine.
How do you know that?
Because
Can you guarantee that?
yes.
You're a journalist and you're arguing with me? Boy, you're impartial.
I'm not a journalist. Who said I was a
I'm so
journalist?
glad you're recording this.
That's my camera, dipshit.
I'm putting this man on notice.
You're with me on notice? I'm on notice.
You're on notice. What's your name?
This just in, Jesse Dollemore's on notice.
Ask me more questions.
It's not who's the president, it's our government. Our government is fucked.
The president is the head of the executive branch of the government.
But you know what? With Trump in charge, he's not a politician, he's a businessman.
He's a politician. He's run for president 3 times. He's a politician now. You can't say he's not a politician.
He's not a politician, he's a businessman.
How is our president, who ran for office 3 different times, not a politician? Who has political rallies? How is that not a politician?
Because he's not, he's a businessman. America's run on a business.
So what is it like to have a 45-pound head?
It's not really 45 pounds.
I thought the whole head fit in there.
I
thought you had a massive pumpkin head.
I do have a pumpkin head.
Listen, when you walk around with
tells me all the time.
a pumpkin head this size, I thought we were going to be quick brothers, but I guess not.
So I'm a big brain.
What are you most excited about for the next 4 years? We'll start here.
The bringing back of the sanity and the greatness of our country right now, because all that has gone wrong over the last 4 years has just brought, whether what background you are, it has brought you down, and we want to just make America a great country where you want to come to.
What specifically brought you down the last 4 years? What specifically, though?
Oh, brought down over the last 4 years?
Yeah.
The inflation and
Which is back down now and under control, though.
Under control,
Yeah.
but still it hurt. And there's all this stuff about changing the sex of people and saying that they can play this sport and play that sport and play this, and not allowing people to speak their own minds anymore. That really is what is happening right now in our country. That you're just told what you must do and what you must believe, and you're not allowed to have. We the people are not allowed to speak.
You're speaking right now. You got freedom of speech. You 15 minutes ago, before Donald Trump was president, you had freedom of speech.
Very, very good. However, but in our view, and that the media changes everything that we speak and makes their own opinion out of it. And in our opinion, they just literally make lies up. And look what they did to our president for the last 4 years. They made up all these phony allegations against him. None of them are true. They're all proven false.
Which ones?
Most importantly, I would say the one where they said that he misrepresented the value of his properties. And even those who lent him the money said he did not. And I've done this in my background. You cannot misrepresent the value of your property, because the person and the entity to which you are borrowing the money, they do a very significant background check on that property before they lend you the money. So that was a complete lie. And this whole entire January 6th, the money we wasted on January 6th, on this, on all these things.
You were okay with the attack? I mean, let me say this, out of the blue. I spent many years in the United States Marine Corps.
Did you?
I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I still abide by that oath. And what I witnessed on January 6th was treason against the Republic. Donald Trump didn't win in 2020, and they attacked.
The guard didn't let anybody in?
What was an attack? You said it was an attack. How do you define an attack?
You didn't witness the violence and the weapons and the Proud Boys
There was
and
not
the.
one weapon. Not one weapon.
Well, that's not true. That's not
Who
true.
got shot?
Someone who was trying to break into the House chamber.
So there was a physical act inside the chamber.
Well, she was. So they just let her in, and then it's fine.
Speak carefully when you're talking about a military person who got shot.
I was in the Marine Corps. I can.
understand that. And we
She
all
was in
said
the Air
probably.
Force.
Right.
Yeah.
Who didn't have a gun, and she got shot.
And she was trying to
So what is
calm
the
the
first thing
people
when
down.
you have your arm? What is the first thing you're supposed to do when you're armed and somebody else is not armed? Are you supposed to disarm them?
There are members of Congress that actually running the government who are set by constitutional mandate
You're okay
to
with
certify
someone
the
getting
vote.
shot who's
Absolutely.
Unarmed.
Yes.
And why didn't they certify it? There was
They
no
did
problem.
certify.
Right, and there was no problem with that. The guards and it actually whistleblowers came out of the FBI that the FBI put their own people in there to encourage this. Nancy Pelosi and the governor of or the mayor.
Yeah,
of
we're not a
Washington-
state. We
No,
actually
I'm
don't
sorry,
have.
I'm a mistake.
Yeah.
And the mayor of Washington D.C. turned down the assignment of National Guard from Donald Trump.
That's been proven not to be true as well.
Nancy Pelosi said that. Yes, she did. She agreed with that.
She did not say that.
Yes, she did. She agreed with it.
What is inflation at now?
2.2%.
Now it's at 2%.
That's correct. Much higher, about 9%.
9%.
Yeah.
So when he was leaving office, it went down lower when he couldn't take care
Well,
of
we
it.
couldn't leave our houses when he left office.
That's all a lie too.
Oh,
You're saying
There was no pandemic.
There was a pandemic, but how bad was it when Fauci was lying too?
Right, lie.
Almost 1.5 million Americans died.
Right.
Yeah,
And you
from
have
taking
proof.
taking that shot.
So listen, he's a Democrat.
All
Let's
right.
get at it.
You
Yeah.
are. You are.
I am a Democrat. A couple of reflections. We're leaving way different than I thought it would be. I was actually under the impression that the first day, yesterday, the day that it was snowing and crazy, the day of Donald Trump's last MAGA rally prior to being president, that would be the day with the aggressive freak show MAGA element. And it actually ended up being today. You would think it would be a celebratory tone, but these sore winners are still furious. It is still a mood of grievance that I don't understand it. My other takeaway here is the fact that it's going to be an uphill battle with trying to talk to this plurality that voted for Donald Trump. They are unmoored from reality. They are detached from, they exist in their own little world that whatever Donald Trump says is fact, and whatever is fact is incorrect. It's going to be a major, difficult uphill battle to combat this over the next 4 years, especially when we have the oligarchy and the tech billionaires caping Donald Trump, creating, under the guise of freedom of speech and anti-censorship policies, they're creating an atmosphere that conspiracy theories can run rampant. I don't know of how many of the interviews that I just did are going to make it into this particular video. We'll see. But just about every single person that I talked to was steeped in Donald Trump conspiracy theories and lies that have warped their absolute perception of the reality that the rest of us live in. So I would just say, batten down the hatches, because it's going to be a stormy, rough ride over the course of the next 4 years, and it's going to be up to all of us, every single one of us, whether you're a dipshit on YouTube with a microphone and a camera, or in your home, in your small community, combating this. We need to delay any policy win for Donald Trump. We need to deny everything relative to his accomplishments, because you're going to hear people say this. You're going to hear Democrats even say this. I'm not rooting for Donald Trump to fail, because if the president fails, the country fails. That's fucking nonsense. If Donald Trump's policy agenda wins, we lose. Immigrants lose. Women lose. Gay people lose. Transgender people lose. Black Americans lose. When Donald Trump fails and his agenda falls on its face, America will be better. I'm going to leave it there. I love and appreciate you very much. I'd love to know what you think about this. My aggression to some of these people aside, you can comment below. Of course, this is YouTube after all. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me the old-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work, helping produce these videos. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, or you can go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I love and appreciate you very much. Get ready for the fight. Be genuine. Take care of one another.